the high plains of the Midwest, I bid you good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whatever your time zone might be. My nod to the late and great Art Bell. I'm Keith Sharp.
And I'm G. Dressel.
And we welcome you to Life After Life, a paranormal webcast where we talk about the paranormal, UFOs, or the unexplained. And the biggest question of them all, what happens when we die? Stay tuned. Hola, ¿cómo está? Hello, everyone.
Hello.
We got some people in the audience today.
Oh, my gosh.
So I bet you guys are really ready for the show. Everybody's been hitting me up all week
Carlo.
long about it. Carlos, what's going on? Do a few shout outs. Susie,
Pat.
Thank you again for the donation. You guys could take a lesson from her.
Yeah, Susie's freaking awesome.
John Sablin.
You guys can take a lesson from Susie.
Mel, how are you doing? Patrick, good to see you.
Pat. Yep.
Carlos San Diego.
It's my boy right there.
So that's the reason I said hola, ¿cómo está?
Yeah, he's Filipino.
All right. Oh, okay.
Hey, is Larry on?
Yes, Larry, you there?
I am.
Yep.
I was laughing about that.
Yeah.
Did you mean you're not Mexican?
Yeah. Exactly.
Great.
All right. So how many of you guys? So we're gonna hear an incredible.
Hi, Carlo.
Hey, Carlos. That's Larry talking to you. Does he know Larry's coach?
Yeah, well, I don't know if he knows.
doesn't know why. He has no
I
idea
don't know why we're calling him
He
Larry.
has no idea why we're calling him Larry.
No idea.
But he definitely recognizes the voice. Kind of like we'll recognize the voice of our guest.
I mean,
Yeah.
long lost lovers usually recognize the other's voice.
Right.
Well, he actually put haha Kyle. So it's blown.
Your cover's
Your
blown,
cover is
dude.
blown, Larry. Carlos, we call him Larry here. So you know.
Yeah. That's hilarious.
That is hilarious. All right. So,
Dude.
Garrett, how was your week, man?
It was fantastic. All I've been talking about is time travel for like the last 7 days straight.
Me too.
Every single person I encounter.
This is like the most exciting show we've done. So, Pamela, she's over there playing games on her phone.
Sir,
How are you doing, Pamela?
I'm doing fine.
Okay. Well, shall we get this?
Are you gonna ask Larry how he's doing?
Oh, Larry. Yeah, I keep
Jesus.
Larry, how are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic.
Are you ready for the show?
I am.
Are you ready to hear an incredible story?
Yes.
Yes, I think everybody else is too. All right, you guys. So,
After all this time searching, coming face to face with our
My
cult
bad.
hero.
yeah. So let's do a little time travel here, and let's see if we can bring on the man here. How about that?
I love it.
We have to. Everybody, hold on to your seats.
Hold on to your seats. We're about to.
In the year 2063, what kind of government do we have? It's not a one world order per se. We do have the UN, which is in charge, but we do have sovereign nations. It would be more analogous to the United States now with different states, but you have a centralized government in Washington, D.C. Although the UN does not have its own armies per se, we do have leaders, and that's who I work for, is the UN. Or I did. You did. Now, your mission, though not part of the weather group, you understand well what the weather group is doing. They're coming back, I guess, in large numbers. Is that correct? Yes, they have different cells. They come back all through time, gradually changing the climate, and it's culminating now. We have a big argument going on in this timeline about what's called global warming. And the Vice President, as a matter of fact, just made
was so good.
Wasn't it?
I'm so proud. of
Ladies
you
and
for doing
gentlemen.
that. Yes.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you asked for it. You got it. Mr. Single 7.
This is Single
Hello.
7 trying to come in through from the year 2063. I can't get it. Oh, there we go.
112 looking for Single 7. 112 looking for Single 7.
Oh, every time I come onto a show, I get reminded about Hunter 12.
I left you a voicemail acting like Hunter 12 recently.
Yeah, I read it. Yeah, I heard it. Yeah.
Oops, hang on, I cut Larry off, but we're getting ready to ask this man about that evening.
Oh my God.
And
I'm so excited. Keith's fiddling around with his electronics. Hang on one second.
Okay,
Single
Larry,
7.
you there?
Hello?
Okay.
Yay, okay.
Okay. So, Mr. Single 7, back in 1998, you spoke with Art Bell. You talked about a war with the MIMS. You talked about your life being in danger. You were a paleo
Ag tech.
yes.
Paleo ag tech.
Looking for hybrid seeds to plant in a warmer environment because the MIMS can't stand heat. Now, the people want to know, was this a true story, Single 7, or was this a pile of poo?
It was a pile of poo. Sorry, and I'm sorry to admit that to everyone. It's awful. There's so many people that believed the story and liked it and said that I predicted all this, and you'll probably get into that. But yeah, it was just something that I made up one night, and it just has snowballed for the last 23 years.
You're a hard man to find. A very hard man to find.
Well, I was trying to find somebody so I could tell my story, and then
First of all, let me say this. First of all,
Well, I mean, it's hard to find people in between timelines.
That's true.
Oh, that's right. That's right. So, but let me give a shout out to Russ from the Unbelievers podcast. Without Russ, this wouldn't have happened. I just did one of those searches like you do, Rick, and looked for Single 7, and I found this, and I got a hold of Russ, and I was like, please send Single 7 my information because we've been looking for him for a long time. So Russ and all the guys at the Unbelievers podcast, thank you so much. And you guys should go over there and check out their channel. They got a great channel.
I've never received a text message with so many exclamation points.
Well, you said that last week.
I know, Keith and me, I found Single 7 exclamation points.
I was beside myself.
Yeah, that took a few months to get. I kept trying to tell them, hey, I'm Single 7. They wouldn't believe me. Hey, I'm Single 7. They wouldn't believe me. And then finally, after enough prodding, he called me and he heard my voice and he went, oh my God, you're Single 7.
That's exactly what I said.
Yeah, your voice is it's got characteristics to it that it's like, you're for sure Single 7.
Well, what's crazy, Rick, is that, and I told you, really, like, me and Larry's introduction to Art Bell was through Keith. We're obviously much, much younger than Keith.
Thanks.
But
hey, I'm the same age as him.
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
me and Single 7 the same age.
Yeah. So, but our introduction was a little bit later, right? We had to go to the archives and listen back to some of these things.
Ooh, the archives.
Yes, the archives. But I thought it was great whenever Keith actually found you a couple years before you did the Single 7 interview, call in as Rick. Right? Was it as Rick?
Yeah.
And
Were you the one that put that up on the internet?
I did not. I came across that. I don't know who that was, but even then, Rick, people still was going that's
no, they didn't believe it, but it's true. I talked to Madman Markham about 2 years before I went on as Single 7.
Well, and it only made sense because you were talking about, you said almost the same thing. You talked about tachyon beams, and it definitely was your voice for sure.
Except you were more excited.
Yeah.
Right. I was excited because I love talking about time travel. But when I thought I was going to be a time traveler, I thought I would speak in very slow monotone. It also helps you when you're lying too. So you don't say and a lot, right. Which when I go back and listen to it every now and again, I can hear the ums and trying to find an answer.
Yeah. So Rick, anyway, everybody, his name is Rick. Let's start from the beginning. Okay. So let's start with, you told me in the afternoon you had been reading a science book, I think about seeds or something, right? Or farming or something.
Yeah, that was a National Geographic, and they were talking about how the temperature was getting hotter, and they were going to have to hybrid seeds to grow them, you know, and I also was reading an Omni magazine that afternoon about bootstrap time travel paradoxes. And so I just kind of culminated all this stuff together that he likes. And I owned a bagel business, so I had to make bagels overnight. And so I listened to him a lot because he was really interesting, you know?
Yeah.
And so I culminated all this stuff in a fax and sent it to him, wrote this fax out. And I thought he would just read the fax on the air. That's all I thought. But he actually called me about 20 minutes later and asked me if I wanted to come on the air. I said, yeah, sure.
And he had a guest on, didn't he? That he actually kicked this guest off and put you on.
Yeah. The guest was talking about alternate timelines or something. It kind of like Sliders, the old TV show.
Yeah.
And that this guy was doing, and he was from a Native American United States and stuff. But yeah, he kicked him off and put me on. And I thought I'd be on there 30 minutes at the most, you know, just talking about stuff. But no, it lasted a few hours.
Did the guy say anything like, "Hey, Art, I'm trying to push a book here," or something?
No, I don't remember that. I was busy working when I got the phone call. But no, I don't. But he was pushing a book, some sort of book.
Yeah,
that's what most people did on his show. Is push.
Yeah, absolutely. They're promoting something anyway.
Yeah. You know.
So you send this fax, and actually on the fax it says the bagel company's name, right?
Yeah, it said it right across the top. You know, Ricochet's Brooklyn Bagels. You know.
Well, hey, even a time traveler has to have a job, right? While
yeah.
You're here.
Well, that's what I kind of mid in there. You know, that I was it'd be analogous to the old Hulk TV show or the I can't remember the one. The Fugitive, yeah, it'd be something like that,
right?
Where I was going around helping people in need.
Sweet.
Okay, so you're making bagels, and the telephone rings, and it's Art Bell, correct?
Yep, it's Art Bell.
And
it surprised me.
And he tells you what?
He said, "Would you like to come on the show?" It was pretty simple.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Would you like to come on the show for a segment?" And then as soon as that segment was over, every time it went into a commercial break, he would talk to me. But he would say, "Oh, you got to stay on. You got to stay on. The phones are just lighting up. I haven't seen it this way in years, you know." And so I'd say, "Yeah, okay, I'll stay on."
And so you got to be a little nervous at some point that someone's going to trip you up, right? I mean.
Well, not really nervous because it didn't matter. If somebody tripped me up, I mean, well, I lied. See you later. I got to go.
Yeah, I got some bagels.
Yeah. And I tripped myself up, right? You know. I tripped myself up with that archives thing. I had to say something because I finished a word for him. Yeah. You know, discontinuity or something.
Discontinuity.
Yeah. Okay. So
and I finished
that really fast.
What?
Yeah.
That part of, like, for those people that aren't like Art Bell connoisseurs, what did that have to do with anything? Did he say it all the time? Art used
said it all the time. Yes.
Yeah. Art used that word a lot, and he kept going. So it's just and then Rick finished the sentence and he said discontinuity. He goes, "Oh, so you are a fan."
Yeah. And then so I had to think of something.
Yeah, without missing a beat though, Rick, you said, "Well, you are in the archives."
Right. And then that's become true. So that's become one of the things that Single 7 correctly predicted and all.
Well, that's why, you know, Larry and I listened to it in 2015. Thank God.
Yeah.
To Keith, right? Yeah. Thank you, Keith.
You're welcome.
And so as we're like, we're listening to the freaking archives right now. So we're using the archives.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Larry, you know what the funny thing is?
On
Coast to Coast, when you look for Art Bell, it says the Art Bell Archives. Rick, you are a time traveler, aren't you? You're just bullshitting.
Yes, probably. This might be a big lie I'm telling you here to cover up for my true time travel.
That's what I said.
That's what I said. Well, hey, it's funny. Look at this.
Let me put it on there. aha, hello FBI.
there was another one about government officials.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is.
Hello to all government officials listening in. So
you finish his word for him, and then what does he say? I can't remember what he says.
he said,
He said, so you are a fan.
Yes.
And I had to come up with something very quickly because, you know, a time traveler wouldn't be listening to Art Bell.
Right.
And so I said, well, you're in the archives. I didn't say that I listened to him all the time or anything.
Right.
Because I knew that wouldn't work. So I just went, well, you're in the archives.
Duh.
I don't know what archives you're in, or, you know, maybe it's the giant archives of the UN or something. But you're in the archives. So that's just what I said. But he took it away from that. You know, he took it away because he wanted the story to keep going, you know?
Right. Yeah.
Even when I left, he wanted me to stay on there in his last hour, you know, but I had to go.
You're trying to make bagels.
Yeah, explain to my audience. You made a deal with a guy who owned a bagel shop, and you worked at Microsoft at the time. So I'll let you go ahead and
work at Microsoft. And at night, I would rent this guy's bagel shop because he would shut down at 3 in the afternoon. So I'd rent his bagel shop, and I would sell bagels to the Microsoft. They had these little cantinas all around Microsoft, the big campus. And so I'd sell bagels there, and then I started selling them at other places. In fact, I lost a lot of business then. I had to make a lot of free bagels for people.
Was it worth it?
What, that night? I don't know. That night it didn't seem worth it. And then it started to snowball quite a bit.
Yeah.
And then you'll probably get into the letter and everything after he disappeared. And then it really started snowballing. Then it started on the New York Times, and no, it was the New York Post.
Yeah.
And Drudge and, you know, Keith Olbermann, they all talked about him. You know, single 7. And I was like, geez, man.
And you just thought probably, hey, I'm going to call in, you know, tell this story, and that'll be it. Nothing else, you know.
Oh, yeah. I never thought at 23 years later, I'd be talking about this stupid thing I did one night.
But I gotta say, Rick, you say stupid, but no, there's me and a whole bunch. In fact, there was a guy up here sitting. Let me find it. Hang on a second. Where do you
it's
see
lower?
It? Lower. Okay. Yeah. Patrick says, "Who else is heartbroken right now?"
And I knew when I came online that'd be part of it. You know, I'm exposing the truth. And,
yeah, it's also,
you know,
Rick.
But there's still going to be a bunch of people who don't believe it. It don't matter what I say.
You're right.
Oh,
you're absolutely right, because I'm not sure Garrett believes you.
Yeah, true. And
yeah, Garrett keeps saying I believe that.
Yeah, well,
you're actually a talk show.
It is, you know, it's fascinating. It's just a fascinating kind of circumstances, right? That we find ourselves in. I mean, we're literally talking. This guy my wife is mad at you. But well, you know, but to your credit though, I was telling Keith before the show, like even being a paleo ag tech, because like I said, I've been talking to the time travel. I work with kids every day, right? And so I was telling Keith, I was like, man, I really want one of my kids to be an astronaut someday. Remember me saying that?
Yeah.
And so I talked to him about some far out stuff, and so I've been talking to him about time travel. And I said today, the amazing thing is that you came back as a farmer. Why did you do that? Why did you decide to be a farmer?
Because the single 7 there was 7 people in the group, and I was the single ag tech. And if I was an ag tech and somebody asked me about the time travel elements, right, I could say, no, I'm a farmer, man. I can kind of tell you how it works. And that's what I did.
So smart.
Yeah, because I didn't want to be pinned down on something that maybe I should have known. And like I said, well, you get bombarded with plasma tachyons. Well, if you got bombarded with plasma at all, you'd be dead. It doesn't matter if there were tachyons in it or anything.
Do you think at any point Art believed this story, or do you think he knew his?
No, I really don't. Just from talking, he never said that he disbelieved it, but just from talking to him in the commercial breaks, he kept giving me notes. You need to figure out a way to talk about sex, and you need to do this, and you need to do that. And so I think he knew.
The neural augmentation.
Neural augmentation.
Yeah, which people still to this day, that's part of your validity of being a time traveler, because they're talking about Elon Musk.
Well, the neural augmentation, like I said before, I still do. I read a lot of cyberpunk and so. And there was a story that I had just read called "The Voice of the Whirlwind," and they talked about something called neural augmentation, where they would jack up in their brains.
That's just unbelievable.
And so I just made it into a sexual thing.
Well, of course.
That's funny that he would say that, and then he acted kind of embarrassed about it.
Yeah, he always was embarrassed though when somebody talked about sex, but I don't know why he told me, get the sexual element in there. That's a good angle on it and all that.
Good radio.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's what he was looking for, was good radio. And I don't know how many hundreds of thousands or millions of people that listen that night. He had a big audience, on the West Coast especially.
Yeah.
And so I don't know how many people were listening that night. I never even cared. I just talked to him.
Well, it's not like today where you would post something and then immediately be like, oh, how many people are like watching it? That's another intriguing thing about the story, is that like you're really just doing it to kind of like entertain yourself a little bit.
Pull a goof. I'm good. All my life I've pulled goofs. Lots of goofs. And and I've gotten people to believe all kinds of stuff, but that was the major one. That was the one that I got the most people to believe.
Right.
Like I said before, I had a bet with my best friend that if I had a platform, I could make anybody believe anything. Because like I said, I'm very interested in cults and Messiah figures and all that stuff. Right. It really intrigues me.
Yeah, one of our viewers put, either way, you'll need to make this into a script and push it in Hollywood. Would make a great movie.
That's what somebody said. That's what somebody said in the original Single 7 interview. And I don't know. It happened after I got off the air. He said that he thinks that I was just pushing a script. But you guys aren't science fiction fans. I know.
No, Larry is. So you can talk.
I like science fiction.
Well, have you ever heard of a TV show called Fringe?
Yeah.
From a few years, the last year of Fringe was Single 7. They even used the same years.
Oh, crazy.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And 2063 is actually the year that Zefram Cochrane invented warp drive in the Star Trek mythos.
Gotcha.
So I put that in there as an Easter egg, but no one ever figured that
out. Nobody got that.
Everybody was like heartbroken that it was true. I was more admiration mixed with jealousy of being able to pull off a hoax that big.
Well, I think anybody can do it. I think if you just follow some certain steps by putting in some 49-cent words that you learned, and make sure you write when he called me right before, I wrote the year I was born and the year I was that way he couldn't trip me up, or I wouldn't trip myself up.
Right.
Wrote the year that time travel was. Yeah. But I had basically a little Bible so I could refer back to it when I was talking to him. And you could do that now on a radio. Well, I think, is Coast to Coast still on?
Yeah, absolutely.
If you could buy their call screeners, I bet you can pull that off.
I'm not that smart, Rick. I couldn't do it.
I know somebody that could.
No, do they have like open lines anymore or anything?
Yeah, they still have open lines, but I mean, for what you came up with as far as the scientific nature of even throwing the word tachyon plasma, even
that's cool. You gotta write your script down first.
Yeah, and it's like even Art Bell said after you said that, he goes, "Well, that would be the way to do it if you're going to."
Yeah, he says, "Well, that makes sense."
That makes sense, and whether Art even knew what the hell he was talking about, that or not.
Well, it's like that fax he got from a physicist. Oh, I just got a fax from a physicist. Oh, this guy knows what he's talking about, and then he told me who the physicist was during the commercial break, and I just lost all respect for that physicist.
and who was that again, Rick?
Michio Kaku.
Can you believe that, Larry? Michio
I
Kaku
know. How awesome is that?
sent a fact saying this guy knows what he's talking about. Well, and about
That's a lot of respect
and about
for that physicist.
yeah, about 10. What I think he has 2 to 5 million listeners. It's like, and so
Yeah.
did 2 to 5 million listeners. Rick.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
believe it.
Yeah, it's just crazy, and he does all those ancient alien shows and
yeah.
stuff like that. So
Yeah,
and I don't want to discount anybody who believes in ancient aliens, but I just don't. I love watching it though. I love watching the dude, the step atop, the Greek dude with the big hair.
Oh yeah,
I love watching him talk.
Fan favorite.
Who is it, Larry?
Oh, I can't say his name.
Oh, okay.
It's Greek.
Tectoculus
Yeah.
or something like that.
Something like
It's
that.
crazy, and he's got crazy
His profession's
hair. And,
changed like 8 times too.
Yeah, because even listening to the interview, it seems like to me that Art was hook, line, and sinker.
I know.
But
it was good. It was good radio for him. He was getting a lot of listeners. I'm hoping you get that tonight.
Yeah. I do too. We're still small. Like I said, I haven't figured out the algorithm thing to get everything in a search. But we're working on it. We're working.
Yeah, because if you had been in the search, I would have gotten in contact with you.
Oh man.
Oh, that would have been so cool.
That was like so early on though. Like when we started, honestly, that's my only introduction to Art Bell was through Single 7. Me and Kyle.
Yeah, mine too.
Me and Larry, excuse me.
Yeah.
Because I think we listened to it together, Garrett.
Yeah,
for the first time.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
you guys were going on vacation, I think.
Yep.
Wasn't it? And you listened to it on your trip. And they called me Rick and they're going,
No,
this
that
guy's
was,
for real.
That was the second time me and Cass listened to it. The first time was at our house in Mustang.
Right.
Larry came in 2015. We actually listened to it again like last summer.
Yeah.
We listened to it last summer, dude. Me and Cass were like, yep. Time travel's a thing. It's real. It's real. Call him Larry.
Like we fact checked it.
We did. Yeah, dude.
You fact checked Single 7 and he I don't know. How did you fact check Single 7?
Check it out.
A lot of confirmation by a ton of it.
Yep.
A lot of confirmation by what?
Now, what did you okay, I think what Rick is saying is what facts did you find?
Yeah.
Well, for us being like younger, like the acronym thing for sure.
Oh well, that's true. But
You know
I
what I
had
mean?
been in the Army and I knew the
Right.
acronyms were coming.
Right. But that was kind of like when we first listened to it 2015, that's when it was like exploding. Like literally every text message we would get would be like BRB, TY, LOL, LMAO.
Well, they had LOL back in '98.
Right. And when you said that, it reminded me, I was like, oh shit, AOL. Like, yeah, we did have LOL. But
Yeah.
in the moment, I guess it goes towards something we talk a lot about on this show, which is belief. Right? Like we wanted to believe it so bad that we drew that and we're like, oh, okay, let's attach it.
Right, and that's how I was able to do this, is because I had an audience of people who just wanted to believe this.
Absolutely.
And so if I just gave them some details and chopped it up and put it in a casserole, they would love it.
And you just so happen to like put the right numbers on the safe. You know what I mean? It's like the Easter eggs, as you call them, that you drop. Like these years later, we're like, oh my God. Like the acronyms was a big one. The neuro augmentation, because I think Neuralink went public like in 2017 with Elon Musk.
Yeah, you could put stock in. You could buy into it.
And so that was like, okay, for us people that are kind of not like huge science fiction people, I was like, oh my God.
But who's going to be, like we were talking about earlier, who's going to be the first person to let someone stick a chip in your brain?
Well, dude,
it won't be me.
Yeah, me neither.
Well, Larry's
me neither.
Yeah, we're all like,
I'm totally out.
Right.
But there's got to be
like Lance.
Yes, exactly. We have a friend that would do it immediately.
Yeah,
really?
Which I find crazy.
Yeah,
it's insane.
Yeah, really? Because
insane.
There's always going to be hackers that can get into anything, and
that's exactly what I said.
I just wouldn't want to do it for that reason.
People are going to hack you.
Now, I would love to do it because I have some terminal diseases now, and that should help people, and that'd be nice. Right. STEM research and the neuro augmentation, that'd be nice to, keep living, but I'd have to let somebody else do it first.
Right.
Yeah.
When I think they're actually testing it out on people with spinal cord injuries and things of that nature. trying
Yeah,
to
brain
that's-
injuries.
And that's completely different. I mean, but
it is no.
But if you think about, they're sinking millions of dollars in this neural augmentation, but at the same time, like, there's got to be that one guy that goes, "Let me try it."
Well, exactly.
and that's being a very big experiment.
Hold my beer.
Yeah, hold my beer. Watch this.
But exactly, Pamela.
But yeah, I'm just saying, there's just.
Oh shit! Sorry, guys.
What'd you just knock over?
The alien head.
You knocked over the alien head. Great.
It's because Rick's sending over vibrations from his time machine.
Here, I'll give you this. It's my plasma device here.
Oh, good. Yes.
See, I knew it. Okay, everybody, he is a time traveler. You just saw that.
Well, it was crazy. Sorry, I saw Pat. He said, "Is this the biggest troll of nerds in the history of trolling?"
Yeah, I saw that. The biggest troll of nerds.
Pat's funny. Thank you, Pam. Well, I'm sorry about that. What I was saying, when we were talking about neuro augmentation the other night with you, though, Rick, you brought up something really interesting, and I think it kind of goes towards your knowledge and character. I was like, "Oh, that's good." I was like, "How long do you think until this becomes like mainstream?" And Rick was like, 50 years. I was like, "Really?" Because in my head, I was like, "Dude, like 10 years, right?" But you brought up a great point about neuro augmentation and kind of the bumpers that right.
Right, because anything, it takes a while after they've invented it for people to use it. And I would give you the example of the Google glasses.
Okay.
Remember those?
Yep. Sure.
Those were great to have, but they had some problems, and now you can't find them at all because, it just didn't catch on.
Ah, yes.
But and something like neuro augmentation might not catch on, which I think it would, and then it would slowly morph into entertainment.
Yeah, absolutely. That'd be the natural course of human nature. Right?
And it would be first pornography, because if you look at every technical thing online, it all started with pornography, and then it moved on.
Right.
Yeah, that's already starting right now.
Yeah, but it has since the beginning.
Yeah,
it has since the beginning. The GIFs and even like YouTube, that all started with pornography, and it always amazes me how, because I guess they make a lot of money off of it.
Well, and that kind of goes to the point you were saying earlier, where Art, during the commercial break was like, "Hey, talk about something sexual." Right?
Yeah. Like, I don't think he thought I'd get into that much detail about it.
No, it was great though, man.
Yeah. I know,
it was unbelievable.
Because even if you think about 1998, and Rick says, if you can imagine everybody climaxing at once.
Yes.
And boys being girls and girls being boys.
Yes. Oh my God, dude.
Yeah,
and someone told me there's actually a science fiction show exactly like that.
There is. It's I can't remember what it's called.
It's called Black Orchid, I think.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
I've never watched it, but because I don't have Showtime or whatever it's on. But
if I was,
sometimes this is off subject, but sometimes I get so tired of, oh, that looks cool, I want to watch it, but I got to buy this new streaming service and this streaming service.
Welcome to the future, Rick.
Yeah.
I have like 7 streaming services, and I still can't watch everything I want.
I know, it's like, they talk about people cutting the cable. Well, by the time you buy every streaming service, you've practically bought cable.
Right.
I mean, Discovery Plus, there was something on there, I can't remember, some paranormal show I wanted, so I bought it. And then there's something on Disney Plus, and I bought that.
Oh God, Disney Plus, geez, that's expensive one.
Yeah,
granddaughters.
Yeah, but my granddaughters love it because they can watch all Disney stuff.
I'd love it because of the comic book stuff, the superhero stuff. Yeah. That's what I want it for, but I'm not going to pay that much.
Larry just had the Mandalorian.
Yeah, that's another one. Star Trek or Star Wars.
You guys are funny.
So, Rick, do you think? That there is a possibility in the future that there will be time travel? Is it possible, you think, or is it just like
everything's possible, really? But I just don't see it. I don't know. Really, I really don't know. I'm a very big skeptic of just about everything.
Yeah, which is also fascinating.
I don't know. I think that maybe I could be lying about my time travel experiences.
Yeah.
and lying to you now to cover things up.
Absolutely. I think some of the people that are going to listen to this are going to think that.
I think that's probably the most feasible.
Well,
Yeah.
now that you've mentioned it, maybe I have a neural augmentation device,
You could, yeah.
and they're programming me to talk bad about it. Oh, this could be a possibility.
Yeah, because everything, man, you really did such a great job on that show. You did, and you know, I know you said, "Well, go back and listen to it," and I did, and it's still very entertaining. You really didn't miss a beat. I mean,
but see, now that you know that it was me, and it doesn't sound quite the same. That's what people have told me about it anyway. Because sometimes I meet people that I worked with or something who talk about Art Bell, and I'll say, "Do you remember Single 7?" And they'll go, "Yeah, that was one of the best shows," and they always play it on Best Of.
Yeah.
And I said, "Well, that was me." "Oh, no, that wasn't you." And then they go back and listen to it and they go, "Oh, well, I guess I can tell it's you." And now that I hear it, it does sound cheesy and fake.
No,
it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
And you know what? And then on the heels of the recording that Keith showed me from when you were on with Madman Markham, like the way that I like squared that off in my head was because I remember earlier I said you were more excited in that one. And I even said it on our previous episodes. I was like, dude, life is really getting on Single 7 as a time traveler. Dude. I was like, he must be tired. He must be tired.
Yeah, by the time he talked to Art, he was
cold. He's out there all alone.
Yeah, he's freezing. He's freezing to death.
I'm freezing. I'm hungry. I only have bagels.
He's wet. He's wet for some reason.
I was like, we have to find Single 7 and help him.
Yeah, there's a website. I looked today. I googled myself. I hate saying that, but I googled myself, and I found a bunch of websites about Single 7, but one of them has a guy, and he has all the characters he thinks that I played as Single 7. You know, the same guy.
That's cool.
Yes.
And one of them is the frantic Area 51 caller, the guy from the airplane.
Yeah.
And it does kind of sound like me.
Well,
and one named Brian that was who was really scared that the aliens were going to take over. That sounds like me too, but it wasn't. I was not the frantic Area 51 caller.
Now, share with my audience, you and I been talking off and on this whole week. You said you'd probably called in the Coast to Coast maybe 4 or 5 times.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I want to hear the Ishambo Man story.
I can't find that. I just can't find it. And I don't even remember what night it was. You know, when I look at the Single 7 story, I see all kinds of dates and months. And I believe Single 7 was April of 97 or 8. I can't really remember. And the Ishambo Man, I know came later, but I just don't remember what year.
Because I went to the archives as you predicted, and I found a whole bunch of Ghost to Ghost from starting about at 94, and I started listening to. I think I listened to 98, and I still haven't found it, but I still got a long way. I'm gonna.
Yeah, I think it would be about a year after 98, probably 99, 2000, because I stopped listening to him around 2001.
Now, do you remember any of that story? You said it was like a ghost that would perch and talk backwards.
Yeah, it was a ghost that would. It's actually a story my mother told me of something that happened to her when she was a little girl, and I thought it was very creepy. It was a shadow man she'd see in her in the hallway with just a little bit visible light from the moon or something, and he would walk into her room and he'd jump up on the end of her bed, and and then I embellished the Ishambo thing because I had been in a rock band and I had been playing with the record. You know, when Microsoft first came out, you could play with those recordings. I mean, now it's nothing to make a recording go backwards. But I started going, worship me, worship, and it came out Ishambo or Eve Shambo or something close to that. So I wrote all that in to Art Bell, and he thought it was. He called me actually that time too at home, and that's back when you had the tape player that took a message for you.
Yeah,
right.
had a little micro cassette.
Yeah, and he left me a message, and I kept that cassette for a long time, but he never left me his phone number, so I couldn't call him back.
Right.
You know, I wrote back to him, but I guess it got lost because I'm sure he said that he went through a fax machine about once every 3 days because he got so many faxes constantly. And
Wow.
it would burn out the fax. He said he bought stacks of fax machines, you know, in his little trailer in Pahrump.
Yeah, can you imagine the ink? The ink was expensive for fax machines.
Yeah.
He would buy one every day.
Yeah, well, I think the fax machine he had back then was those. It was a big roll of paper, and it burned the image on there, and it was like
thermal printing,
a black and white thing.
Thermal printing, my wife. Oh, by the way, Pam, this is Rick. Rick, this is my wife, Pam.
Hi, Rick.
Hello, Pam. I can't see you, so sorry.
That's okay. Nobody gets to.
Yep,
Oh, okay.
I call her the producer of the show, although she just sits there and plays games on her phone.
Can you talk to me again, Pam?
Sure.
Just say something.
Something.
You have a very strong accent.
Yes, she does.
She's a Southern girl.
Where you at from the South?
Oklahoma.
Well, I guess Oklahoma is considered. It is still above the Mason-Dixon line. So
Here's what's crazy, Rick. Here's what's crazy is that we all consider ourselves from the South, being in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
But like Larry's from Virginia, and he's like, "Dude, you're not the South. You're
Because you're above the Mason-Dixon line.
Yeah.
I'm from the South, about as south as you can get besides Florida. You know, I live about 2 miles away from the Gulf of Mexico, not two blocks away from the Gulf of Mexico, and I'm in Mississippi, southern Mississippi.
Yes, you are.
Where like my wife is the actual Cajun, and she has that accent, and you know.
Sweet.
I love that accent. It's the hardest one to understand.
Well, I'll tell you about a Southern Cajun woman, and they have a temper.
Yeah.
So do Southern Oklahoma women.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think most women, but just Cajun people in you know, when they start speaking that. When they start speaking that French,
and I think it's just women.
But when they start speaking that French, that French, and then yelling at you, it's scary.
I'm sure.
It's scary.
It is that, man, that accent is just like they took hillbilly Appalachian and
it's
ran
crazy.
into French into it.
And if you go to if they go to France, nobody would be able to understand them.
No.
No matter where your woman is from, when her accent gets heavier and thicker,
Right.
shit is deep.
Right.
I get more afraid.
Yeah, me too.
You're a wise man.
Hey,
Well, yes, because I say yes, dear, many times.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Try not to argue.
Hey, so speaking of your wife, she like loves this whole single seven thing, doesn't she?
No, she rolls her eyes. She don't understand any of it. I was telling her just, you know, before I came on what I was going to do. And she was like, well, why are you doing that? What? And she always threatens me, if their nuts come to the house, you're going to get in trouble.
Dude, there are some.
No.
You know, but I love her very, very much.
Good.
Yeah.
I must say that. And I would do anything for her.
Yeah.
I live in Southern Mississippi because of her.
Yeah, I know you told me that.
And I'm a Seattle boy, man. This is not good for me.
This is totally different for you, isn't it?
Completely different.
Well, I've lived down here for 20 years now, but yeah, it's not Seattle.
So the other times that you called Art, were they all ghost to ghost besides the single seven thing?
No, there was a ghost to ghost. There's one I called about rods.
Okay.
Do people still talk about rods?
Not that much anymore. No, I think pretty much people figured out they were moths.
Yeah, they're moths or insects. It was just the bad cameras at that time, you know.
So what
the
were
first
they?
HD cameers would catch them.
What story did you come up with on the rods?
Space rods.
All right.
Good.
I like it.
Rods in space that float around and you know, attack astronauts and stuff. And yeah, it was kind of a crazy show.
How long did you leave you on with that one?
I don't think I was on for very long that time. I
Do you
think he
think-
was like, "Oh, that's very creepy," and he went on to his next caller because he had the astronaut on that night. He had, I can't remember his name, Story Musgrave. He had Story Musgrave on that night.
Cool.
Yeah, and yeah, he got some pretty good guests, you know. And
Yeah,
then
he
there
did.
was guests that, you know, there was the guy who took over Single Seven's identity, and that was John Titor. I'll always be mad at whoever John Titor is.
Yeah, who the hell is John Teeter?
He was a guy who came on and he just switched around. He came from the year 2036 and he started selling books,
Yeah.
but he never spoke. He always did it through faxes and emails and such.
Okay.
Yeah, he did. He went on to make money. He had pictures of it. Wasn't it an automobile, Rick, that he had that was a time travel
That he
machine?
put a time travel machine into, and then it was
And
like
he
a
took pictures of it.
57 Corvette convertible.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah, and he even had, if I remember right, I think he even had put blueprints up for a time machine for people.
Yeah, something like that. And then he had
Genius.
at one point he had some pictures of aliens in tacos for some reason, or burritos wrapped up. I didn't understand that, but yeah,
I missed that one.
yeah, it wasn't a meme, it was something that was on Art Bell's website for a while, you know, because he had one of the first websites and it was very interesting. It was right when Photoshop first came out and nobody really understood it, and they would send all these pictures to Art. Oh, look at this alien, you know, and they would just enlarge the head of somebody. And he'd post it up. Oh, look at this alien. Oh,
Yeah.
God, I remember when remember the alien autopsy video?
oh yeah, that was
Yeah,
that was some
Oh my God, that was
paper mache alien.
yeah, that was big news on Coast to Coast.
Well,
I
I
mean,
think what happened is somebody found an old roll of film and an old movie camera, like a Super 8, and they shot it on that so it would do some legitimacy to it, you know. Oh, well, this film is very old, you know. It's got old markings on it and stuff, but yeah, because that was not.
well, you
You
can
know,
even
it was hosted by one of my favorite Star Trek dudes, though, Jonathan Frakes. He hosted it. And
Yeah,
look at this alien.
yeah, even when that came out, like, I mean, when I first got into the Beetle tribute business, we did a show and I put it into some program where I could add grain to it and like little skips and things like that to make it look like yeah. So, and it looked very authentic. In fact, my film looked better than the alien autopsy film, I thought.
Well, that was, but they hyped it so much, and so the audience, like Single Seven, just the audience that watched it wanted to believe it. You know, they wanted to believe that because what got me, and I know that you believe in UFOs, but one of the I told you about my UFO experience.
Yeah, go share it with the audience,
please.
Okay, in 1977, my brother and I were walking I grew up on Air Force bases, and we lived at Ellsworth Air Force Base in South Dakota at the time. And I was 13, and I was walking with my little brother to the convenience store, I guess they call them. It was a PX, and it was late at night, and we saw this huge black triangle flying over us, and it was just awesome, and we could make out all the details, and we were getting all excited. We went home and told our father we saw a UFO and blah blah blah, and my father was a pilot and he didn't believe in UFOs. And but later on, about 1983 or 84, they unveiled the stealth bomber, and I went, oh shit, excuse me. I went, oh damn, that's what they that's what that was.
Yeah,
exactly. It was a stealth bomber. You couldn't, you know, but it looked like a UFO at the time.
When we talked about that, I actually, like, while we were on the phone, I really quickly Googled, because, you know, again, growing up in the 90s, going to the air shows, the stealth bombers would be flying. That was, you know, big out here. And so I Googled it really fast, and you're right, dude. They look a lot like UFOs.
Yeah, and the stealth fighter, when you look at it right from the front,
right.
is it looks like a curve, like a typical UFO
It
from
does.
a
It
movie
really
or
does.
something.
Yeah, it really does.
And
That's
then the other thing is Art would always talk about the Phoenix lights, and how real they were, and all about a big UFO turning. And so I believed it, And then I saw it on TV finally, and I went, "Oh, that's just flares from a military plane, being dropped at night with the parachutes." And when they're going out, it looks like a big. I have seen that before and thought it was a big rotating disc.
Right.
Because I was in the Army in El Paso, way out in the desert, and so I stopped kind of believing in UFOs.
Yeah, I think that's what Art saw. Did you ever hear Art's UFO story?
Yeah, a few times, but now I don't remember it. You're gonna have to refresh me.
Yeah, he was just saying he was driving back from Vegas to Pahrump, and him and Ramona had this. And as soon as he said triangle, when you say triangle, I think stealth automatically.
Yeah.
And and of course he's by Area 51 where they're probably test flying these tests.
Yeah, well, they did at Area 51. They test that stealth.
Yeah. Yeah, and Art, and people had even said to Art, well, it's probably a stealth. And he goes, no, it was no stealth bomber. And indeed, it was a UFO. But he said it hovered.
I remember that now because I think they did an animation of it, and it was like really a triangle, not like a stealth,
Yeah, he said this thing hovered.
Right.
50 feet off the ground right beside him. And again, I don't know about aeronautics. I don't know really much about the stealth bomber, if it can, but the stealth can hover, can it?
Oh,
well, the Harrier can hover.
So. Is it triangle?
No, but okay. Who knows what they have at Area 51? Who knows what experimental aircraft they have, and they're always looking. The Osprey can hover, so they're always looking for hover crafts. Trying to develop those.
Well, it kind of goes back to what we were talking about with neuroaugmentation too. Like, there's no telling us apes. You know what I'm saying? We have no idea what has already been developed. It just hasn't been released yet.
Right. Or didn't make it. Didn't make it. The ramjet technology that they were supposedly testing out there in Area 51, the ramjet, kind of like the boom, 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 little explosions that propel things. That didn't make it. So,
the blimp.
I don't know. I mean, because what about
Larry's blimp?
Larry's blimp. Hey, Larry, is he still there?
Larry may be changing diapers or something.
Okay, yeah, but we'll let Larry tell his blimp story.
Carlos still out there.
Yeah, tell him. Okay, so I actually got
there?
Yeah, I got a recording.
Okay.
I got a recording of Art Bell talking about in Philadelphia. There's this blimp that's flying around, and so and that was your blimp, right?
Yeah, but it was in Aberdeen. It just floated up that way.
So what happened exactly with that? Because our audience never heard the story.
Yeah, it was on the news.
CNN, dude.
The tether broke, and it was just dragging behind the blimp as it just floated along, just destroying power line after power line as the tether was just grabbing on stuff.
So my
soldiers were like calling me because I'd been out of the Army for a year after working on it, like developing it. And I just get a call, and he's like, hey, what's up, sir? And I was like, what's up, man? I talked to you in a year. He's like, hey, why don't you turn on CNN? I'm like, that's a weird thing to tell me after not talking in a year. Like, why do you want me to turn on CNN? He's like, just do it. I turned it on. I'm like, dude, that's the blimp? And he's like, oh, yeah.
Hey, Larry, can I ask you a question?
Oh, my God.
Larry, he wants to ask you something.
Hey, why were you trying to develop a blimp?
It was a cruise missile defense.
Oh, okay. I kind of understand that. So it would be like an early warning system type thing?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. I just couldn't understand why you would be wanting to develop something that's like 130-year-old technology.
Yeah. It was where we had touched radars on it and we were tracking cruise missiles.
Okay, that I understand and it makes sense.
But after that, it never became system of record, so they just kind of scrapped it, I think.
our,
Like, yeah, well, that was stupid. Like, destroyed a lot.
our tax money going to great things, Larry.
Yeah, because isn't helium
Yeah.
super expensive?
Yeah, helium's really
Yeah.
expensive, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, right now it's hard to get. Even in the balloons, the little party balloons, you can only get like a mixture now. The actual helium is just expensive, too expensive to buy.
That is a great idea, though, that you guys were doing, Larry.
Yeah, awesome.
It was the size
Just
of
all
like
the
2
Army
football
just throwing things, stuff like that.
Wasn't it the size of like a football field or two?
You could have fit like a small rancher house. It was 75 meters, dude. It's huge.
Jesus.
So anyway, I was going to ask you, Rick, what do you think? Have you seen the Tic Tac video that Commander Faber saw that was making these incredible movements? I mean, he says definitely nothing that we have. How do you explain that? What do you think?
I haven't seen it. I've
radar.
never watched a TikTok video in my life. I figure I'm old because of that.
No, it's called he's playing single 7 right there.
Yes.
No, it's called the Tic Tac.
It's
Tic Tac.
It looked like a Tic Tac, and it was right above the ocean, and they locked it in on radar, and this thing just went, I mean, just out of their radar.
Huh.
And it's all over YouTube, but the commander, this Air Force pilot, went on tons of shows and talked about this thing. And the Pentagon actually released that bit of film.
Yeah, I know they released a lot of the Navy films of UFOs just disappearing and stuff. So, but they wouldn't confirm that they were UFO. Well, they confirm they're UFOs, but they don't confirm they're from outer space.
Right.
Yeah, what do they call them? UAPs now?
Yeah.
Unidentified
Aerial phenomenon.
Unidentified aerial phenomenon.
I'm still going to call them UFOs.
Yeah,
Me too, man.
But when I was a kid, it wasn't even UFO. It was UFO. Because there used to be an old TV show called UFO, and that's how they pronounce it. UFO.
Okay, so Art had asked you about crop circles, which I thought was beautiful because you turned it into, you mean circular growth of a plant? Or?
Right. I knew, like I said,
beautiful.
Whenever you lie, you can't know everything. You just can't, because then nobody will believe you. If I were to have said everything, oh yeah, well that's this and that, then no one would have believed me, because human beings don't know everything. And of course, I knew what crop circles were when he asked me. I had been listening to his show for but I didn't want to say, because I figured that phenomenon would die out, and I'm sure I was right about that. It's pretty much, you don't hear about them anymore.
Oh, not at all.
No.
Yeah.
And so I figured it would be dead by the 2060s or whatever, and so that's why I was asking like that. And then, of course, I was a paleo ag tech, so I'd really want to know what some weird thing with plants would be.
Yeah, I would like to know more about that.
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah, because you kind of ended the interview with like, I'm very interested in that.
I kept wanting to talk about it. Oh, I'm interested in it, but I had to go. But
that's so wonderful.
I hate the fact that we can't find that whole show, because even at the end of your show, you said there was a lot of callers that had called.
Yeah, there's an hour worth of calls.
Yeah, and it's nowhere to be found. I can't find it in the archives.
Yeah, neither could I. I never looked in the Art Bell archives. I never looked in the archives, but I've looked like online looking for it and just can't find the whole show. The before or after I'm on, and then a lot of times when they first had it online, they had it edited a lot. They had to edit it. Because when he would play it on the Best of Art Bell, he would edit out all the sex stuff and the religion stuff. The religion stuff would go to, he'd edit that out.
Oh, that was good too.
That was so good,
about the Ark,
the Covenant of the Ark, right?
Because he always talked about the Ark or the Covenant, and I figured, well, if I had said that we found it in Ethiopia, where other people were saying where it was at, and that it proved that religion wasn't true.
Right.
Yeah.
You said like
that it would make people mad, and of course I wanted to make some people mad. I wanted to get them going again.
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
Yeah, but it's a great
It's
explanation. Like,
perfect,
yeah,
yes.
because you said it was like mythology. It's in Zeus, Jesus, Zeus.
Right. That's something I can't believe that you heard that. I really didn't hear it, but that's something that I had been writing about in college and stuff, about how like the word Zeus and some of the old myths had translated into like the religious Jesus myth, like it's almost sounds like Hercules when you hear the story of Jesus. And I'm not trying to upset anyone.
No, you're good.
No,
You're
no,
fine.
no.
I don't want to upset anybody's beliefs.
No.
It's just I thought that was interesting, and so I kind of just threw it in there for some reason. I threw everything in there. Like
You
I said,
did.
I made a
You
big
covered-
casserole of just all kinds of junk
You
that I could
really
throw
did.
in.
You covered basically every little corner of society. Well done.
Yeah.
My work.
Yes.
Yeah, well done, well done, well done.
Yeah, I wonder if I could still do it since I'm so old.
Yeah, you could call. I mean, if you could get past George Norrie's screeners, yeah.
Well, even if I could get past the screeners, which I'm sure I could, he'd probably hang up on me or whatever, because he's not like Art Bell. He's not going to listen to this. He has a specific scheduled show. From what I haven't listened to it in years, but from what I remember when I first started listening to him, he had a specific scheduled show, and you didn't. And I don't think he had open lines. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure he does either. I listen to him every once in a while, but not very often because the show's so damn late, man. And I got to get up early.
Right.
And
I used to be on the West Coast where it came on. It still was late, but it came on like at 10 or 11.
Yeah, it would have been like 10 o'clock your time because it comes on here at midnight.
Right. Well, I'm
2 hours behind us.
Yeah, I'm the same here in Mississippi. It plays on one of those conservative talk radio shows, like at midnight or 1. I can't remember.
Yep.
Because every now and then when I'm flipping through, I'll hear it. And yeah, but it's not the same.
No, it isn't. I mean, Art, there was just something about Art, man. It was good radio. And it was very entertaining. And, not to knock George Norrie, but there's sometimes you can tell he's not even listening to his guest. He'll go, yep, okay.
Right. Because he's probably doing, some sort of copy or something at the time, or looking at it. But Art did it all himself. And like I said before, he probably was a control freak.
Yeah, I think
he probably didn't get any sleep.
I could definitely see that.
Yeah. He ran his,
Chain
he had no producer really. He ran his board. He did the commercials. He did everything.
Right.
On his own. I was like, you're nuts. I mean,
and it looked like he smoked like 50 packs of cigarettes a day.
Like a chimney, just chain smoking constantly.
What, did he die of lung cancer?
He died of COPD. Yeah, pretty much. I mean,
okay, COPD.
His COPD was so bad there towards the end, he had to get off the air because he was having a hard time just talking and getting breaths in. And
he looked like an alien.
He did kind of look like his, So I remember you saying that.
He would be like the commander of some UFO. That's what
he was. He needed cigarette smoke to survive.
He had
put it up to poison him.
He had a small role on some sci-fi show, and I can't remember what it was. He said,
"Yeah, it was called. Oh, geez, it was the one where they had the aliens would get into your brain and control you." And he was one of the Majestic 12 council.
Yeah, because they were sitting at that big table.
Yeah, he didn't have any lines. He just would sit there. But
I think he had one line. I think is what it was. I remember.
No, I remember. I used to watch that show, and I remember going, "Oh God, that looks like Art Bell." And then, back then you couldn't just Google anything, but I had to wait until the end of the program, and it was Art Bell.
That's so great.
Hey Rick, what do you think those crop circles were? I mean, I'm sure people did that, but
I think there were people doing it.
How would they get it so correct though?
Because it's easy to do with if you're a student in a college and you use what are the things they use in making roads and stuff.
I was gonna I
know what you're talking about. I
can't remember
where they can measure it perfectly.
Right.
Well, they can be up, and they'll have the tripod, and then
yes.
and the
Surveyor.
Surveyor. Yeah.
yeah, surveyor. And they used to be able to survey. Just think of just even 4,000 or 5,000 years ago when they were making pyramids and making roads, they could survey just down to the inch, and that's what they were doing, I'm sure.
I wonder how long it took them to do that. Some of those big ones, which are, on the Led Zeppelin album.
Yeah.
The box set is just crop circles, man.
Yeah.
And this one,
but I don't know, but they always, all the crop circles I ever saw pictures of, and some were very intricate.
Yeah.
But they always had a road or a path going through them.
Yeah.
And so I'm sorry. And if it had been some UFO thing, then why did it stop? It just has stopped.
It did. Yeah, it totally did.
They were trying to send us. They were trying to send us messages, is what people would say.
They're like,
got frustrated.
Yeah.
They're like, you know what? They're not getting it.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Why would they do stuff with crops? I don't.
Yeah, or like you're destroying our food.
Dude, stop.
Now, when I used to mow my lawn, I used to have a much bigger lawn, and I had a riding lawnmower, and I used to make crop circles in the lawn,
fantastic.
but no one ever understood what I was doing. I live in Mississippi. My sense of humor is not well received.
Yes. But that's I can say that's one thing I never really believed in was the crop circles. I just imagine people out there with big rollers just kind of rolling out.
No, they just basically use that board and the rope, because I've watched them time lapse them doing it, and they made some pretty intricate things with just some simple surveying equipment.
That's super neat.
Yeah.
I would love to make one, not just to fool people, but just to do it as a art.
Right.
Yeah, as an art, exactly.
But you're also destroying somebody's wheat field when you do it.
Yeah.
I think it's cool. I think it's cool you did it in your front yard. That's awesome.
Well, I did it with a lawnmower. my grass was kind of high, so I just ran. I didn't mow it all. I just ran it around and did it.
That's hilarious. So, Rick, we talked earlier, and you said you were a big prank. You've been a big prankster your whole life, right?
Yeah.
So share with my audience about, you talked about going to a store and buying this like huge 7-foot balloon or something.
No, it was about as big as it. People in Seattle know a store named Archie McVie that sells like little rubber alligators and all kinds of just crazy stuff. You could get Band-Aids with like Abraham Lincoln on them. It's just crazy stuff. And they had a balloon that was about as big as this room. It was really huge, and it took a whole tank of helium, actually.
Wow.
And I mean, a big tank, like a welder's tank of helium. Because I remember it cost me $57 back then. That was a lot of money,
Yeah.
Now it's like, I need to buy a sandwich. Here's $57. But those little LED lights that would blink, that people put in drinks and stuff in bars, those had just come out. So I bought a bunch of them, and I put them in that balloon, and I'd shake it up, and then I let it go up, and I lived on this mountaintop in Seattle. It was called Snohomish, the Issaquah Plateau, and I let it go way up there, and the next day there was, news reports about people seeing UFOs that were like flying around and jumping. And I was like, oh my God. Because it was kind of windy that night. So it was kind of moving back and forth. And then I cut it loose. And then I thought, oh God, I hope it doesn't hit a airline or a little private plane or something. Then I really will be on the news.
Yeah. Showing Rick in handcuffs.
Yeah.
Dude, that's awesome.
Like a Cessna. Because a Cessna would fly about 1,000 feet or something like that.
Yeah, I know. That was just like, After I cut it loose, I was like, oh, I should have just, kept it in the house or broke it or something,
So Rick, you're telling me you lived in Washington and not one time you came across a Bigfoot.
No, except for the time I dressed up as a Bigfoot and scared a bunch of people. one of my jobs when I was 18, just before college, was it was called Showbiz Pizza Place. It was like a
we had those.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they had this bear costume, and I took the bear costume and I put a bunch of old like grass all over it and stuff, and I sat out there, and it was all my cousins, and they had been, and I had jazzed them up about
Sasquatch,
Bigfoot and Sasquatch, you know, for a couple days. Hey, and I jumped out there. Oh my God, they took off running. Do you guys up there now? They don't have them here, but do you know what a nettle is?
No.
It's a stinging plant. It stings, kind of like a bee sting.
Interesting.
Wow.
And they grow up there on the, you know, and they jumped in a bunch of nettles, and oh God, it caused me. But I never let them know it was me. I took off the suit and came strolling down the path. Hey, what's wrong? And they're like, oh, it's a Bigfoot.
Nice.
Yeah, they were from Canada, so they deserved it.
Yeah, that's great. Dude.
Canucks deserve anything you can do to them.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
So when you did the balloon thing, I mean, I bet, did that get on the news? I mean, did they have?
Yeah, it got on the news. People talking about the UFO swishing around. So I didn't think it would get on. I didn't do it to get on the news. I did it because I was bored and thought it'd be funny. I thought my neighbors
got on the news.
My neighbors all around me would, you know, talk to me about it, and I could just smile to myself because that's what I like to do goofs for.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So did you have a partner in crime with that, or is that just your idea?
That one was just me.
Even better.
Yeah.
So cool.
My best friends and stuff really didn't get into the goofs because they were, and I can understand, they don't want to go to jail, you know.
Right.
The first thing I ever did was I made an AM radio station when I was a teenager, you know, in high school. My father was really into electronics, and I had stolen one of his ham radios and I readjusted it. And I thought that was cool. I played made up ads and stuff. And then one day some people came knocking at my door, and then I got put in the handcuffs. So I found out that was highly illegal. It's a federal crime.
Whoa.
But they let me go. They said, "Oh, he's a stupid kid," and I wasn't cursing on the radio or anything. It wasn't like there's a movie with Christian Slater, and I can't remember what it's called. Oh, Pump Up the Volume, where he does, and now you don't have to do that at all. You just go on your YouTube channel,
Right.
Wow.
do whatever you want.
Did you actually serve any time, or did you have to pay a fine, or did you get off from?
No, I just got off. They took me in and they interviewed me or interrogated me for about 3 hours, and then my parents came and got me. And oh yeah, well, you know, I got in a lot of trouble that way. Because whenever you're in the military, whenever you're in the military, what your spouses and dependents do reflect on you, you know.
Right.
So my dad wasn't too happy.
For sure.
Yeah.
Can we
My dad wasn't too happy because you know.
Yeah, we talked off the air about and I don't know if you can talk about it or not, but something you did in the Army about finding some wreckage.
Yeah, I could talk about that.
Yeah,
I think that's
great.
I think it's over with, but I had to go and train some English people. I was a tanker. I was on an M1 tank, and they had what was called Centurion tanks, and I was training them, and I had to go to the bathroom, and I asked the English guy where the loo was, and he said it's over there in the hangar. So I walked right through the hangar. There was guards there, you know, and I walked right through the hangar, and I used the loo. And then after I was done, I was like, hey, what's in here? Oh, this is kind of cool. It was a bunch of airplane parts that looked like they were burnt or something. And then finally, after about 20 minutes of me knocking things around with my foot and stuff, an SAS guy came up and he wanted to know what I was doing there. And I said, well, I just used it. And what happened, and this is back when they were super secret, what happened, it was a Harrier jet that had crashed in England. And so they were trying to reconstruct it, but it was super secret. And so, oh my God, for a day and a half, I was interrogated. And then they found out that when I was in high school, when I was 16, I thought it would be cool to join the Communist Party so I could get that cool card. They had a cool card with a sickle and crosshammer and stuff on it. Hey, that's cool. And I never knew that would come back, but it came back then.
Well, that seems to be kind of the story of your life, though, Rick, right?
Yeah.
You do this thing and you come back, huh? Almost
Yeah.
Kind of like a time travel.
I think it's funny. He could just walk past the guards, go into the hangar.
Walk past them. Didn't even say hi.
Me and Larry,
they were like the palace guards sitting there. I remember,
Well, me and Larry were laughing because, like Larry's saying, he's like, dude, that's like the most army thing ever to happen, right?
Yeah.
I told him that when you were being interrogated, like, you don't want to get the dudes in trouble. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I didn't, I didn't understand why they were so secretive about it. I didn't understand what I was looking at,
Right.
Oh, is that a turbine? I don't know.
Right.
Just curious.
But, they had to do it because they thought I might have been a spy for, this is back during the Soviet Union days.
Right.
And I could have been a spy for the Soviet Union or something like that. I don't know.
Or a time traveler.
Yeah, or a time traveler.
Yeah.
The last goof I did was about 5 years ago. I had made these, the heating ducts that are flexible and they're shiny.
Yep.
Yeah, I found some about that big around. They were throwing them away. They were used, and I made tentacles out of them. I went down to the beach and I laid them all over the place with seaweed all over them.
Oh, nice.
It didn't get on the news or anything that I know of. But.
Yeah.
Yeah, and didn't you say you made a picture or something? You were telling me about like a ghost picture with a tank. I can't.
Oh
remember.
yeah. The tank had got. We were in Germany, and the tank had got hit by this big. They have 220 lines over there,
Mm-hmm.
and a power line came down and it hit the tank, and some of the people thought it disappeared, but it didn't disappear. It was just all the sparks that went off. So I took a picture of myself sitting out of the hatch of the tank, and I cut it out, and then I just put it on a picture of the woods, the forest. and then I had it retaken as a picture and developed. And I said, "Oh my God, look at this!" And I had those soldiers totally convinced that that tank disappeared. I was saying it was like the Philadelphia experiment,
That's great.
Yeah, but soldiers are pretty easy to trip up anyway.
Yes.
Oh, 1,000%.
Yeah, they'll believe anything.
That's scary.
Yeah, it is sometimes.
Well, hey, you'll love this. Have you ever seen the movie Napoleon Dynamite?
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah,
about 1,000 times. My cat's named Pedro.
Hey, it's funny, man. Like when I was at the West Point Prep School. The West Point Prep School, I said, I don't know why I decided to do this, but at breakfast, I told everybody that Napoleon Dynamite died in a car wreck. and then I at lunch, like everybody was talking about it. And by dinner, because we didn't have Google or anything back then, either,
right,
really.
right.
You couldn't get on and Google it, But by dinner time, man, it was like the talk of the school. Everybody's talking about Napoleon Dynamite died, dude, in a car wreck.
Speaking of Napoleon Dynamite. There's an Art Bell connection there to that movie. Remember when his Uncle Rico buys that time traveling thing?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
That was a machine that sounds almost exactly like something that Art Bell got sent. And a guy wanted him to market it, and he was too afraid to put it on and plug it in.
Right. That's crazy.
But it sounds exactly like the same machine he got. Yeah. So somebody again was an Art Bell fan.
Absolutely.
That's funny. Hey,
Garrett, why did you start that rumor?
I have no idea.
Just to do it.
Yeah,
That's the reason I do half of the stuff I do is just to do it.
The
if
same
people will believe you.
So Single 7 and called a national radio show.
Oh,
yeah,
God,
see if people will believe you and see how far it'll steamroll. Sometimes it don't go very far, but sometimes it just goes crazy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, did you tell after that interview? Did you tell your friends about? Hey, man, check this out.
Oh yeah, man, tons of them. I said, hey, man, listen to this, and most of them, like my wife, just rolled their eyes. What the hell are you talking about? This this is nuts. Nobody's gonna believe it. Why would people even waste their time listening to this? You know?
See, that's what I keep saying to everybody though. That's like so fascinating, and I hope you don't mind that I say this, but Rick, you're somebody that doesn't believe in UFOs. You don't believe in Bigfoots. I'm assuming you don't believe in ghosts.
No.
Okay, you're an atheist, right?
Yes.
But yet, millions of people probably believe in time travel because of you.
Yeah, maybe. And I hope they see
remarkable.
this interview and you know, maybe, I don't know. There's some people out there that have problems, you know, believing things, and
Right, for sure.
and I'd hate to just, you know, make fun of them, but sometimes I make fun of people, and that's just how it is.
Yeah,
It's kind of an oxymoron even having him on the show.
it really is. No, well, I think it's fascinating.
It
right?
is. It
I mean-
is. I mean, me and Rick had talked earlier about my experience, and you know, I didn't believe in ghosts either. I just thought it was just something you watched on TV until I started having shit happen to
Oh my
me.
god.
Yeah, and that's a creepy story, man.
That is
That's
awful.
that is.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think I would like that to happen to me. And maybe it does happen to me.
Yeah, me neither.
I maybe it does happen to me, and I just sleep through it.
No, I mean, we talk about that kind of on the show a bit.
Well, I think it happens to a lot of people. You get distracted with life and you don't pay attention.
Or you don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You don't
Yeah.
care to.
I live in a house that was built in 1939, and there's been quite a few people that's died in it over the years.
We'll
So
come investigate.
maybe there should be ghosts running around. I don't know.
Maybe there are.
Yeah, maybe they are and you don't
Yeah,
know.
maybe there are.
No,
And I just don't see them. Maybe they're trying to get in contact with me, and I need, like, was it last week you had the Ouija people
Yes,
on?
yes.
Yeah, the
We'll
Ouija
bring
board.
them down.
The Ouija people? Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
I need to get a Ouija board. Well, I do have one. It's up on the wall somewhere, but I don't have the plushette. Is that what it's called?
yeah,
Yep.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
have that.
you can make one.
We'll make one for you.
Well,
Yeah,
I
you're
think
right.
I could just go and buy.
people that make it.
Yeah, I think I could go and just buy a new Milton Bradley game
Yeah.
for a couple bucks and get the little plastic one with the little plastic. And that was like one of my first things I used to goof on people with when we were little kids, and they would gather around for the Ouija boards, and I'd always be moving it. And they'd go, "It's
Yeah, yeah.
moving, it's moving." Are you moving it, Rick? No, I'm not. But look, it's spelling out death.
Oh no. Well, I think that's a good segue into your question, actually, Keith.
This is something Russ talked to you about, and you guys just kind of barely touched on it, but and maybe you did. I know he edited that interview. I think you said.
Right? Yeah.
But what was weird is you talked about Art he actually was a professional retirer, is what people called him, and he had came out and said that Single 7 told me a tragedy would happen where I would live and Ramona would die. But the crazy thing is, Rick, Ramona died.
Yeah, she did, but I did not write that letter. I didn't write that.
Wow. So
I don't know who wrote it, but I did not write. Like I told Russ, after I was done with Single 7, I was done. I didn't want to. My father kept telling me, "You need to write a book. You'll make money." And I was like, I just don't want to deal with that anymore. And I had things to do in my life back then.
Yeah.
I was only 31 years old when I made that interview.
Yeah.
So
you said you didn't think it was Art that actually posted that.
no, I don't think so, because it was posted on an Art Bell website. But
Oh, okay.
I was just looking at that today, actually.
Yeah.
And they said it was posted on an Art Bell website, but I don't think he posted it. Why would he do that? Because it was a horrible story that happened.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just horrible what happened. And so I think I don't even think he wanted to hear about Single 7 anymore, because it had to deal with that. But I think that's what got Single 7 in the majority of the people's minds, and why it kept going, because of that letter and what happened to him.
Man.
Yeah, that was weird. That was very strange. But it's just weird that some of the things you said actually, I mean, I know
Well, right. That's true.
it happened. It
But
happened.
I never predicted 9/11. Sometimes when I look at websites, single 7 predicted 9/11, single 7 predicted COVID.
Well, you know what?
Yeah, I don't remember ever predicting,
I can explain that
Those
to
are who
you.
I'm going with.
Larry, what are you doing? Sanding a piece of wood or something?
It sounds like it. It sounds like he's making horse head
smoke dope?
bookends.
No.
No, but Rick, what that was it people were getting you mixed up with John Titor. John Titor's the one who supposedly predicted 9/11 and all that other stuff. And
I can't believe he did it either, but maybe he did. I don't know.
I never even looked into it, honestly, or the John Titor thing much. I mean,
Because I think John Titor was actually a few dozen people,
yeah, I do too.
just taking up the mantle after,
Yeah, that's
but
what
I mean, single 7 never predicted 9/11 or COVID. No. God, how would I predict COVID?
Yeah,
I'd have to be a true time traveler that lived through it all.
Yeah, but you got damn lucky on a lot of stuff, though.
Well, yeah, some of it, because even now, if you ask me some questions, I probably could look out and see what the trends are and kind of tell you. I mean, that's what a lot of psychics do anyway.
Yeah.
The cold readings and stuff, and they just look out at all the trends and do it. Did the people go away that was writing the?
Oh no. We just got so involved in the conversation, we stopped putting them up.
oh, you're the one who has to put them up. I thought I'd be able to see it over here, but I can't.
Oh, is it not on the very top left? Do you see a thing that says comments?
Oh yeah, people.
Oh yeah, I see that. Oh, okay. I had it on private chat. Sorry for Oh, I see them now. Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. What about Incan lines? What's an Incan line?
I don't know.
That was from Aunt Doug.
Where's it at?
It was right there. Boom.
What about? Oh, sorry about that. What about Incan lines? What is, Doug? You're gonna have to explain. I don't know what Incan lines is.
Well, it could be he's talking about the lines in Peru in the desert. They look like birds and stuff.
Yes.
But I don't know what that have to do with single 7. Yeah, single 7 made the Incan lines over years.
Yeah. I think he did. Yeah, didn't he, Pamela? Like when we were talking about crop circles, he was talking about Incan lines.
Yeah, he knew the Incan lines, and it was some power grid that he had to use to power his machine.
Yes, of course.
And nobody ever saw my machine here. I got a flux capacitor.
Yes, you do.
And a photon circuit. Yeah.
See, he is a time traveler. I know.
I'm
see.
still,
And my t-shirt. No one saw my t-shirt.
Yeah, hey, Larry, look at that single 7 shirt.
Can you see it? Larry?
We keep losing Larry.
I'm waiting.
Oh,
I love it. Dude, yeah, perfect. We were just talking about the logo.
Yep, see, told you.
Yeah, we're gonna
Larry, were you making those horsehead bookends?
I think so.
I guess you're not as old as me. When I'd go to high school, the first thing they'd teach you in wood shop was horsehead bookends.
Okay.
They were horse heads,
and
you cut them out of plywood, and you made them for your house. And your mom went. I made 2 of them. My mom went, "Oh, those are so nice," and then I found them in the closet.
I cannot believe that we've just talked to single 7.
Well, we still are talking to single 7.
I'm just like, I'm really amazed. I'm really grateful, honestly.
Yeah, we're gonna make a special edition Life After Life single 7 shirt.
We are.
Send you.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we got you.
Make the merch.
Yeah,
Sell your merch.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to ask the people how many people would buy something like that.
I don't know. Would you guys buy a single 7 shirt?
I would.
If you're still
with that
here.
logo, if it was made better than me just writing it out on a.
Well, my daughter's an artist, and
there you go.
Yeah, she could come up with an awesome single 7.
And by the way, I guess you could use this. This is being recorded, right?
Yep.
You can have all the proceeds of single 7 t-shirts. I will not go, wait, I need 10% or whatever.
Yeah. We get It'd be great. We get in a lawsuit with Rick.
No way.
Yeah. I'm suing. I'm being litigious after but I can't admit that I'm a time traveler, and the government dudes would come after me. Who was I saying? Trav T group were coming after me.
Trav T
and Hunter 12 and I can't remember who else was coming after me. The Mime.
Yeah, and then what did the guy call himself that said, "I'm looking for this fellow named Single Seven"?
I can't remember that.
Oh, that was the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was some agent from the future, but he kept talking like this. I'm from an agent from the future. Yeah, I'm looking for this guy. I'm looking for this guy named Single Seven. And I just shut it down right then. No, that's not true.
Yeah, it's funny.
You did.
You told Art, you go, hey, I don't think anybody be listening to your show.
And then he goes, well, I said, I don't think anybody from the future would call you. And that's where the archives came from. And he goes, you did. And I went, oh, yeah. Well, you're in the archives again. Oh.
Yeah.
He was kind of quick when you're trying to dismiss somebody in his audience, you know.
Right.
Well, you did it. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Don't make fun of my people.
But
they're how I make a living.
And
I never told you the story of how I came up with Single Seven or the Mime.
Yeah. Tell everybody that.
Okay. Single Seven, like I said, I was making bagels. At Single Seven, when I was writing out the story on the facts, I just was looking around. Oh, what could I call myself? You know, I could call myself Hunter 12 or something like that. But I saw this thing and it said a single 7 serving, or a single serving of 7 cups of sugar. And I went, oh, that sounds cool. And that's what I got that from.
That was amazing.
And then Mim just came from the word minimal. I know minimal is MIN, but it just sounded better as Mim. And then I told the story. Well, the reason they're called Mim is because that was the first. That was the first thing we heard on the radio from them. You know.
Right.
God, that was beautiful.
That was beautiful.
That night.
Well, I had it written down but I just couldn't stay the last hour. He kept asking me to stay.
Yeah.
But I just couldn't do it. I was running really late, and I had a thing written down that the Mime were actually humans from the future that look totally different now. You know, like thousands of years in the future, and they're trying to get back to our time because our time is what they need. You know, it was.
Yeah, they wanted linear time.
Yeah,
they wanted linear
everything
time.
was happening all at once, and they wanted some type of organization.
Right, because they're living in the 4th dimension. And if you've ever seen a picture of Picasso with his 4th dimensional paintings where the eyes are all over the place,
right,
and anything you ever said in your whole life, the mouth move. Yeah, I figured that would be a bad situation to be in for them, so they'd want our linear time. Now, why they would fight us for linear time, I have no idea.
Right.
But you know,
how much
it was like, why are we raising? Why do I need these seeds and stuff if we're raising the climate of the earth? You know, why do I need that? Because I could just do it in the future. You know, I could just pick some seeds up and graft them.
Right.
But you know, that didn't make good time travel story.
Right, for sure.
No, it was like the perfect dance between you and Art Bell that night.
I know, man.
It just
and I should have called him back. Well, I did one time. I wrote, but it was after the Ramona thing, after his son.
Yeah,
and I wrote him a fax, and I thought maybe he'd call me again, but he did read the fax online. It was about how I was a different person at this time, but I had talked to Single Seven. I was one of those people in Single Seven's Underground Railroad, and I had given him some holographic coins from the future, you know, and I had made some little holographic coins. My brother could make holograms, and I made these little holograms on glass, and I was going to send him a picture, but he when he even read that fax, he didn't seem like he really cared. Right. Because, you know, Single Seven got put in with all that stuff that happened to his boy, and that was just awful. I don't think he cared about thinking of Single Seven again.
Right.
Did that actually? I didn't know about that part. I mean, I knew for what we're talking about is Art Bell's son was molested by a high school teacher.
Right, his high school teacher.
Now, how did that fit in though with him saying about the
because Art Bell, his son had the same name as he did.
right?
And there was a couple of these religious dudes who hated Art Bell. They had a shortwave radio program. And so they started saying that Art Bell had been molesting children.
right. And
They read the police report wrong or whatever. And so that became a big snowball event in his life. So he left. That's why he left.
Yeah, because he was real upset with Premier Radio because he had it was Ted Gunderson, I think, was the guy you're talking about that he sued, and he was really hurt that Premier Radio would not hire any attorney to defend him on the slander case. But if you think about it, I mean, Premier Radio probably didn't want to touch that with a 10-foot pole,
Right. Because
right, to be associated that even if there was a chance that Art Bell was molesting kids.
But yeah, and then this after Art Bell left, that letter showed up, but he still hadn't said what happened. It took a year before he said what happened.
Right.
And that letter showed up. And so everybody was I remember Keith Oberman kept saying, and Future Boy told him, and Future Boy. And so he probably just didn't care about Single 7 after that.
Right.
Somebody said, was it you that said that you called him up and asked him?
I did.
Yeah, we asked what happened to. Garrett had called.
Yeah, we asked him.
Yeah.
No, you asked him if he remembered him.
Yeah, he said whatever happened. He goes, Art. He goes, do you know what happened to Single 7? And Art was just real short with Garrett. And he said, nope. No idea.
No idea.
And that was it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I don't think he really cared about dealing with Single 7 ever again.
Oh my
because
God.
of that. It was part of that.
Right, for sure.
Thing, because somebody had used his horrible situation as a way to make a goof on him. But it was not me. I did not write that letter.
Yeah. So
I'd admit it if I did, because, you know.
Right. Yeah, I mean, and what a shame, because it would have been great to have you back on the show, like you said, in a different timeline or something.
Right.
Or, I mean, you guys could have kept that going for years.
Probably.
Yeah.
But like I said, I just think he was done with it. He didn't want to deal with that.
Yeah, because it was now it makes sense to me, because I kept wondering what the hell would that have to do with Single 7?
Again, though, going back to the whole story of these events, it's like the perfect storm, isn't it?
Yeah, it was. It was a perfect storm.
Oh my God!
Except for that bad part that happened.
Well, no, I know, but I'm saying even that to where like
Well, that I think that bad thing that happened, because that happened before anybody knew what was going on, and that's what got it in the national news. I mean, there was a Good Morning America thing that had Single 7 talking, and they were talking about Single 7. And like I said, the Drudge Report and New York Post, and I can't remember exactly, and Keith Oberman, they were all doing these stories on the Single 7 dude with Art Bell. Because Drudge used to be a good friend of Art Bell.
Okay.
Yeah, in the early days of Drudge, he would come on his show sometimes, and he would write him facts and stuff.
Yeah.
No, I don't like Drudge. I don't even know if he's still around, but
the Drudge Report.
But he was So
you said you weren't nervous during that. I mean, like you said, what the hell? What did you have to lose? But
I wasn't making any money or anything off of it.
Yeah,
you were losing money.
But exactly.
I was. Yeah.
But I mean, 50. Like, what was the percent of? I know you said you made a few notes before the show. But was this kind of just going by your wings? I
was just winging most of it. I had written down dates so I wouldn't get screwed up with that.
Somebody said that you went to the School of Mimes, is what at Single 7.
Who told you that?
Well, I read it yesterday and it didn't.
The School of Mines, South Dakota. Yeah, for some reason I put that. Because I had gone, I thought you said mimes, and I actually went to a mime school when I was a kid.
Yeah, you were like, oh my God.
I was like, how did you find out about that?
Because I talked to the Rick in the future.
Oh, yeah, the Rick from the future. Who
But
wanted to
the
do-
guy was saying, yeah, he goes, I did the math on that, and that would have made single 7 like 10 years old or something like that. But I didn't remember that at all. But
the School of Mimes in 2036.
Yep.
yeah,
No, I wouldn't have been 10.
yeah, I think he was screwed up on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I would have. That's why I wrote it, because I would have been around 18, 17, something like that.
You made sure.
And then I could say, well, in the future you go to college a lot earlier in your life.
Right. Oh my God.
Oh, he's got to answer for everything.
Yeah. Well, if you're gonna lie, like I said, and I have a lot of experience at it, you're gonna lie and pull these goofs, and anybody can do it, I think. Like I said, I might write a handbook I might write a book on how to do it.
Yeah.
Well, you kind of talked about did you finish that book on writing? Tell everybody the title of the book that you had worked on. Single 7, the rogue something time traveler.
Well, Single 7 time rogue, but that'll never see, because now that I have outed myself, that was just something to keep it going.
Yeah.
And after Art Bell didn't want anything to do with it, because it took a couple months to write it. After Art Bell didn't want anything to do with it, then I don't even know where it's at anymore. I think my brother has it.
You should write a book.
It was basically the same story with a little more. It was about 200 pages long, so it wasn't that long. So I was going to call it Single 7 Time Rogue. That's what I was going to call it.
Love it. But again, Rick, I mean, even though people know you came out and you said that you're not Single 7, everybody likes a good sci-fi book. It would still be
right. And I was thinking about, but I got 2 sci-fi books that I'm trying to get published now. Maybe I'll come on your show and try to push those.
Yeah, do it.
I got one called Elvis X, about a clone of Elvis in the post-apocalyptic world.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah. And then another one called Harold, but I think that would be too weird for people. It's about the Messiah coming back as a talking hemorrhoid on a guy's butt. I tried to think of the worst thing that you could make the Messiah come back as.
Oh my God.
Art would say, well, I'm going to get a lot of emails on that one.
Yeah, I shouldn't have said anything about that. Whenever my best friend calls it stepping back. He's always been my rock, when I start going into too weird of territory, and he'll whisper to me, step back. And it means, take it back a little bit. But sometimes when I'm not with him and I just am talking to somebody and I'm excited because I said, oh, there's this book I'm writing. It's called Harold. It's about this. And I think it would be a great, on our modern society, actually, how we could make anything as a celebrity,
True.
But people will actually start backing up.
Right. Man.
They'll be going, oh, well, that's interesting. I'm going to go over here.
Not on this show. Yeah,
well, but I don't know. It's just a novel, Elvis X I'm more excited about it. It's about, because he's still, it's got time travel in it too, because he's still, remember Elvis, he got made into by Nixon, made him into an agent for the United States.
A DEA agent.
He's still being used that way.
Okay.
And he's got the brain of Nostradamus with him, helping him solve it. And he's having to go around because it's a bit weird. He's having to go around because the cloning machine that they used that they put in place in the 70s to make the human race go on after a nuclear war, it got damaged by the nuclear. So all the clones coming out are evil. And
oh God.
They're trying to take over from the past. And it has the black-eyed children. You ever heard of those?
Yes, we did a show on it.
Oh, really? Yeah. Yes. I even put those in there.
Cool.
Yeah.
I thought those, when I first heard that story, I said, oh, that's the most creepiest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah,
And so I push those in there. It's just another weird thing because my mind is a little weird, and I understand that.
Welcome to the club.
yeah. You're amongst my family of,
Yes.
of crazy people.
Yeah, and it looks like all your it looks like all your well, you got one dude. It's just one dude.
I don't think
Doug
it's
Siri.
Doug Sari.
Doug. Yeah.
Doug
Yeah,
Siri. He's making all kinds of.
He's my cousin from Canada.
Oh wow! Well, then why am I listening to him? I don't like Canucks very much. No, Doug, I actually love Canucks.
Yeah.
It's just that I always make fun of them. That's all. Because
Well,
they're
I
an
think-
easy target.
Well, yeah, I think you do need to continue on the book.
I agree.
You really do. You really
Well,
do.
I was thinking about making one on how to lie and starting it off with a few chapters of just the story that I made of single stuff. And then after about 3 or 4 chapters, say it's all a lie. You just listen to a lie.
Yeah.
And then this is how you do a lie.
Right.
And this is how I did the lie. Or I might not call it lying. I might call it goofing or something.
Yeah.
Because I don't really like saying lie. I say goof.
Yeah. You weren't trying to be harmful.
It
or
was
anything.
yeah. You weren't trying to harm anybody. It was
Yeah,
just
and I hope I
good
don't ever
entertainment.
harm anybody. That would, after after I hung up on Art Bell and he was taking calls, there were 2 calls. There was a caller, and since you listen to Art Bell a lot, you might have remembered that he was a blind guy, and he'd always be afraid of everything, and always ask for help.
Oh my God! No, I don't remember that.
Yeah, he was on a lot of shows. He would call in, "I'm blind. I can't do it. I need help." And Art would say, "Well, I can't help you." But he was scared about it. He wanted help in case the MIM come. And then there was an old lady that was scared about it, And I was like, "Oh God!" But then I figured, somebody's always going to be afraid about it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then I think you should write a book. I know we've talked about this 100 times, and The Adventures of Single Seven, a series of them, sci-fi. Yeah, I think it would.
Yeah,
be
I
good.
guess sci-fi. I could probably pound those out pretty quickly.
I agree.
Yeah, you were a literature major, right?
English
major. Yeah.
But I always say literature because it makes me sound more refined. Yeah, it's and I'll say an undergrad degree because for some reason that sounds better. Do you have an undergrad degree?
I don't. No.
Yeah. It just means bachelor's degree.
Yeah, my wife's over there going, yeah.
Yeah, this is a bachelor's degree. But it sounds more authentic or something when you say, I have an undergraduate degree. It sounds like I have an overgraduate degree, like a doctorate in something, and I just have this undergraduate degree.
Yeah, it's like you're almost a master's, or
almost
a Dr. Rick.
Dr. Rick.
Yeah, Dr. Single Seven.
Oh my God,
that's hilarious. Well, does anybody got any more? You got any more questions, Larry?
Oh, no,
Larry's
I'm good.
still making those horse head bookends.
Yeah.
All night long.
It's just been, I'm so humbled.
Yeah. So now,
Yeah, it's been awesome.
The cool thing, Rick, is now me and Garrett don't have to end the show going Single Seven. If you're out there, get a hold of us.
I literally have your phone number.
Wait 1 second before you go.
Yeah.
Your cousin made a huge funny.
He did.
The first rule of mime school is we don't talk about mime school.
Very good, Doug. Well done.
Very good.
That
very
is
good.
clever. That's just so clever. I wanted to point that out.
Pretty good for a Canadian.
Yeah, for a Canuck.
That's pretty good. That's funny. Okay, well, Rick, thank you so much for spending some time with us.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Rick.
It's been our pleasure. I
hope I entertained.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh my God.
Absolutely. And if you decide to do the book, or if you ever want, we're going to have you on next week, and I'll tell the people here in a little bit. But
okay, should I stay online or something so you can talk to me, or you want me to call you?
No, you're good. You're good.
Okay,
you're good.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, we're just gonna end the show.
Okay.
So
well,
anyway,
everybody, goodbye, and Single Seven tuning out.
All right.
So
I lost my little thing to put in front of the camera.
Wait.
Roger out. Single 7. Roger out.
Thanks, Rick.
Thank you so much, Rick.
All right. Bye-bye.
We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, that was awesome.
Just Rick, man.
Doing Rick things. We need to, yeah.
Yeah, we got to get him a shirt, Larry.
Yeah.
Make that happen.
Dude,
Yeah.
I'm not convinced that he's not a time traveler. And they maybe like
Well, yeah, I mean, hey, he's a good bullshitter, right?
he is.
So
Yeah, he tricked us once. He might be tricking us again.
that's right.
He wants to write a book about lying.
Yeah.
He
So-
did it. He's a time traveler.
He's a time traveler.
Hey, I'm just like, I am so grateful though, because it's just like what he pulled off, first off, is genius.
Yeah.
Right.
It is.
And secondly, just kind of the circumstances surrounding it, very interesting. The fact that we're talking about it all these years later, I think lends credence to kind of how important it was, even on the Art Bell show, how awesome it was. So
Yeah.
thank you, Rick.
Thank you very much.
But,
Yeah. So, okay, Nick, staying on the time travel
Train.
subject or whatever you want to call it. I had a gentleman contact me about a week and a half ago named Michael McIntosh. He says he is a time traveler. He was recruited when he was very young, I think to age 6, and that he's going to be the next president of the United States in 2024.
Okay.
Larry just hung up on us.
Larry's like later.
Later, gotta go. But
So okay.
so yeah, so we're gonna have him on next week. And yeah, it's just the whole thing with this is interesting to me. Is like, well, that's a bold statement to say
Right.
you're going to be president, because anything you say, if you don't become president of the United States, just went down the shitter, right?
Right. No,
So-
absolutely. Absolutely.
So, God, what if he became president?
That'd be crazy.
That'd be crazy. So, yeah, we're gonna have him on the show next week, and
Well, I think that's kind of the whole thing about Single 7, though, right? Is like why it's so fascinating is because he was specific enough, right?
yeah,
And he was also vague enough at the same time. He's like you put it perfectly. He
Right.
had a great dance going on with Art Bell.
yeah,
They were riffing,
yeah,
or he's just really a time traveler.
yeah. Yeah, it could be. I mean, because, and the thing is like he's right. There's so many people that even when he came out on the Unbelievers podcast, that there's still people that are like, no, he's a time traveler.
Yeah.
But
This guy right here,
yeah,
me.
yeah. So anyway, guys, tune in next week. We're gonna have who supposedly says he is a time traveler. Rick is going to be one of our special guest hosts. He's going to help interview this guy, because if
Anybody knows
anybody
about-
can see
yeah.
a bullshitter, it'll be Rick.
Yep, absolutely.
So, and I hope Michael's, the thing is not that we're making fun or anything like that, because I do want to believe in time travel. I really do.
Yeah.
But if you're going to come on my show, you're going to have to answer some hard questions.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I've got some hard questions.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes. So you guys tune in next
Can't
week
wait.
for supposed real time traveler. And again, we're going to have Rick as a special guest.
We love you, Single 7.
He's going to be a guest host. He's going to be interviewing him as well as we are. So he'll be asking him questions too.
Oh, God.
So yeah, this will be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we're going to end it with that. We want to see everybody again
Absolutely.
next week. And we will see you